What's up, YouTube? I'm back at you with another story time. This is Kaylin and this is the OK Life. I know that some of you probably watched my story time of how I got abandoned in another state, but I'm fit to get at you with another story time of how my house caught on fire. If you see me wearing this outfit in the second video, I'm just letting you know I'm not dirty. I'm not wearing the same thing twice. I'm just letting you know that I'm actually, filming this video on the same day. So, just to mess around with the editing and all that kind of stuff and hopefully post it on a Saturday. But this is my story time of how my house caught on fire. I don't exactly remember the dates or anything like that, so don't really quiz me on it. I know I was at least around 19 when my house caught on fire. I know I was about to be 20, but this is the time my house caught on fire. Well, I think this was back in 2015. I know it comes in, I know it's like a long time, but I know it's like 2015. I know it's like 4 years ago, but so far what happened was it was of the summer of July, and I was getting ready to my cousin's wedding. She was getting married in Hawaii, and I was thinking about telling people I was going to save up my money for Hawaii, and I was gonna put it in this empty coffee can because and pretty much save my money, pretty much my paper dollars, and put $20 every day in there. Thank goodness I did not, because I would just have only coins in there, so that was a good thing in the story. But what happened was, I'm guessing the same day, it was like the same week, I told people I was going to Hawaii to go visit my cousin for her wedding, and she was getting married in October, and I don't even think I was gonna have enough money anyway to go all the way to Hawaii from Texas. But anyway, it was like the same week, and so what happened was my house caught on fire. It was like summertime, and of course your AC was blazing, and everything was so hot in Texas. You have to, shoot, you could cook an egg on the sidewalk kind of hot. Like, it's just like, if you stepped outside, you was immediately was about to sweat. So it doesn't even matter what you was wearing out, in the summertime. So what happened was, I know what date it was. It was July the 28th. It was early in the morning, and I swear I wish that it was a sign, because my phone went off and it was like an alarm, like a sleeping alarm, pretty much saying get up, time to go to work. And I was just like, I'm off. Like, there's no reason for me to be getting ready at 5 o'clock in the morning. At the time, I didn't see no issue. I didn't see no fire in my room. And then all of a sudden, this was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I went right back to sleep. And then that's whenever all of a sudden the fire alarm went off. Like me, I live with my grandparents. I'll admit to, I live with my grandparents, and most of the time my grandmother, she would wake up early and she would cook breakfast, and sometimes the fire alarm would go off. Okay, I was thinking it was that kind of situation. But as soon as I heard my grandmother yelling at the top of her lungs saying, "Kaylin, get up," I was just like, what is going on? And then I woke up. I swear my room was on fire. The fire started in my room where the air conditioning was. Pretty much there was a fire in my room where the air conditioning was. I did not see nothing. Like, I was seriously stuck in a room, a closed room. Like, I couldn't even see my hands. I was like, I swear, the smoke was so dark, I couldn't see nothing. I couldn't even figure out where I was going. And so I was closed in my room, and I think the only reason I wasn't able to inhale that smoke was because I always sleep with my head covered. I always sleep with my head covered with the blankets over my head, and I'll sleep that way. And I think that's the only reason why I was able to like not get killed by the smoke or anything like that. But as soon as my grandmother said that, I hurried up and ran out of my room. I ran, and as soon as I did that, smoke came all through the house. And my grandfather, he's a very deaf person, and he wasn't gonna leave that house until he knows I was safe. So he's like walking around. I mean, like, when I say he was walking around the house, I mean, like, I don't even think my grandpa, you know, it was like early in the morning. I don't even think my grandpa knew what was going on, because he was like, when I saw him walking around in the house full of smoke, he was basically like walking everybody else in the house, like my grandmother and me. We were running. We was just like, oh no, we need to get out. So I'm trying to go out the front door. My grandpa, he just walking through it like it was a normal day. He was just like, that's how my grandpa was walking in that smoke. And you know, I'm like too busy trying to get out, because when I say that smoke was everywhere and it was dark, you know, if you was in that smoke, you would have been dead. That's how I feel like. So I pretty much, you know, I busted open the front door and was able to get out. But boy, my grandmother, she is going to kill me if I told everybody what happened. I mean, like, me and my grandpa, we was in our pajamas, but my grandma, when I saw, I mean, like,
naked grandma, naked, huh?
Honey, let's just say my grandmother, she was getting ready for work and she was taking a bath. And that day I saw my grandmother in her birthday suit. So my grandmother was a naked grandma. And so I swear, me and Papa was just like as soon as we got close to the living room, we was able to get out. And I'm telling you, my grandmother, she ran out of the house like a headless chicken, butt naked. And then she was just like, wait a minute, I don't have any clothes. So she, I mean, like, she was butt naked, like completely soaking wet, butt naked. So she ran back into the smoke where the fire was. And I'm just like, why did she did that? You know, I understand you don't want to be out there naked, but I would have, you know, I would have improvised. I would have at least, you know, had a curtain on or something. I would have ripped the curtains off the living room. That's how I felt. But she pretty much just ran back into the room, got her, you know, got her dress on, and she put it over herself. I'm like on the, you know, I'm pretty much knocking on the next door neighbor's, you know, home. Well, we live in a neighborhood where our family was really close, so I was able to run over to my great grandmother's house. Like, I was banging, I was shouting, and I, like, me and my grandmother, we did saw like a stranger in the middle of the street, and he was like calling. He was just like, hello, you know, there was a fire right over here. And I mean, like, you could see the smoke now, you could see the fire, you could see everything going on the house. And I'm banging on the door, just banging at the door, trying to get my grandmother to open the door. I mean, like, when I say child, I'm telling you, that woman, it seemed like, you know how women, I'm gonna be honest, you know how some of our women are, some women are, you know, they don't want to answer the door unless they look good enough. And my grandmother, I'm telling you, she must have been doing something, or I don't know what was going on, but I know that she took a long while to answer the door. By the time when she answered the door, the police, not the police, but the firefighter who was already at our house putting out the fire. And I'm telling you, I was so upset because that was my room, and my room was damaged the most. After the firemen pretty much, you know, put out the fire and everything like that, I'm like too busy like calling my mom. And of course, you know, I had to call my mom a few times because she didn't know what was going on, and she was out of, you know, out of town. And I had to be like, Mom, you know, my house caught on fire. And she didn't believe me that my house caught on fire. I wouldn't say she didn't believe me, but she was just disbelief that my house caught on fire. And so I had to, you know, I had to call my other grandmother. I had to be like, you know, Momo, can I be, you know, can you come pick me up? Because, you know, my grandparents' house caught on fire, and I don't know where I'm gonna stay at for tonight. So what happened, I ended up getting picked up by my grandmother. And, you know, that's what happened later on. But so far, once the firemen were done putting out the fire, of course they didn't want you to go back in the house. They was just like, no, you can't go back into this house because of, you know, fire hazard and everything like that. And I know that whenever the fire, you know, before the firemen came out, you know, my grandpa made sure to move everybody's car, because, you know, if the fire reached, you know, to the cars, you talking about blowing up the whole neighborhood. Let's just be honest, blowing up the neighborhood. So his main mission, while everybody, you know, while me and my momo was trying to get, you know, pretty much somebody to call, you know, 911, his main mission was to move everybody's cars out the garage. So yeah, it was just a crazy day. I remember, like, yeah, once the firemen were done putting out the fire, yeah, like, they didn't want us back into the house. And, you know, we would just, you know, yeah, it was just like, I remember, like, the air conditioning that was attached to my room that was on fire, it was on the ground, you know, right on the ground. And I remember, like, this mailman, I know he was a mailman because he was wearing his uniform and he looked like he was there early in the day. I swear, you know, some of these people, like, when something bad like that happened, it's just like they just like try to, you know, act like they feel guilty, and then they just like later on try to see what they can get from you. Because this mailman, he was working that morning and he saw the firemen putting out the fire and everything like that, and then the air conditioning was right on the ground. And this man was like, he was just like, you know, a mailman, he was just like, oh, I'm really sorry for what happened to your air conditioning. And, you know, we were just like, you know, me and my grandma and my grandpa, we were just like, you know, we was upset, we was mad, we was in this, you know, anger mood where we didn't want to talk to nobody. And, you know, he was just like, I'm really sorry what happened to your, you know, to your house, but I just want to know, can I get that air conditioning? Like, my grandmother, she was just like, no sir, you can't get my air conditioning. And so he asked again, and, you know, my grandmother told him again, like, no, you cannot get my air conditioning. This man, you know, he kept on saying he was sorry, but then he was kept on asking for our air conditioning. My guess is that he was trying to see maybe he could pick up that air conditioning and sell it for parts. But it's just like, dude, like, we just went through a house fire just an hour ago, and we don't have time. You know, we need to scrap up as much money we can right now, and you worrying about picking up our air conditioning? Really? Okay, hopefully, I'm hoping maybe you're watching this video, but I'm pretty sure you're not. But this man, he just didn't care. He was just like, yeah, like, can I have your air conditioning? Can I have your air conditioning? I'm like, no, like dude, like, we just went through a heartbreaking situation and you worrying about the air conditioning. And, you know, just to say the least, you know, just to end this whole long story, everybody came back home safe. Not home safe, I'm sorry, everybody came back, you know, safe. Nobody was hurt by the fire. My grandparents and I was able to get out of the fire. If nothing, you know, nobody had to die, nobody had no health issue from the smoke or anything like that. But I just want to tell you my story time of how my house caught on fire. And if you want me to make more videos in the future, please like, comment, subscribe, and for more videos in the future.